Hey folks, we're in Minneapolis, Minnesota this morning with the National Heroes Tour from Vets for Freedom. We were supposed to be at Forest Lake High School this morning, Pete Hegseth's alma mater, except some folks took exception. Now, you were expecting to see us there. What's your name, son?
My name is Derek DeVolis. I'm a senior at Forest Lake High.
And Derek, you were hoping to see the heroes, talk to them, maybe get some information?
I was, because I'm going to the National Guard, so I was hoping to, kind of see what it's like over there and talk to them and see what's going on.
And how'd you show up here?
I left. I told him to give me a pass, or I'll just walk out the doors anyway. So.
My brother's best friend just went into the Army, and he was a great student at Forest Lake. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we couldn't all be able to get this awesome presentation.
So now, are you guys legally or illegally here?
I'm legally here.
Legally?
My mom called. She's all for it.
You can't really blame the schools as much because they're really looking out for us because the last week of the quarter and they didn't want protesters.
It's the parents that
at
called
school.
that made Dr. Matthew
Change it. So.
Chicken out?
Yeah.
chicken out. Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks, Vets.
The point we try to make everywhere we go is, well, we're in Iraq today. We are where we are today in Iraq. There is an enemy there in Al-Qaeda that is trying to defeat us there. And what can we do to constructively ensure that we're successful? That's the conversation we want to have. We want to take the partisan politics out of it. We want to take all the rhetoric out of it, all the campaign slogans. And we want to have a serious conversation from the folks that understand it firsthand about how we come out of this successfully. Because there are huge ramifications, not only for our country, but for our allies in the world, for what happens on that battlefield. I do want to recognize the high school students that have showed up here in the front. I really appreciate it. David has received the Bronze Star and the Silver Star for his actions in Fallujah. The Silver Star was just an intermediate award. He is nominated for the Medal of Honor for his actions in Fallujah, and I believe may become one of the first living recipients from this conflict of the Medal of Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, Staff Sergeant David Bellavia.
Thank you very much. I just want to say, for the record, any man that shoots a tank with a rocket is a hero. All right, I know you're kind and humble, but dear Lord, that's a tank. I knew nothing of this area other than it was really hard to catch fly balls in your dome, and after seeing exactly the cross section of Patriot out here. Just absolutely incredible. What happened, with the high school, it's embarrassing. I mean, let's not, pull any punches there. It's humiliating. But if a member of the Vikings showed up to that same school, I doubt anyone would be like, "You're trying to sell season tickets, aren't you?" Are you trying to push your, collective bargaining agreement on these young men and women? But this is part of a sinister plan to recruit all of you. I want you to know that there are people outside with haircuts and inoculations waiting for. There are people today that are threatened by what we're saying. You didn't hear anything about a political party. You didn't hear anything about, I hate to break it down to you, but I saw Democrats and Republicans die. I served with Muslim Americans. Nowhere on your dog tag does it have room for a political affiliation.
And they have spilled their blood so that children and so that you in the front row could hear and might know what true liberty is and what peace is. And with that blood, the American soldier has written on the earth a permanent testament to your love for our country. And I thank you for that.
I got to tell you, in the midst of what we've been dealing with the last 24 hours, Representative Detmer has been our champion and has reached out to probably many of you to let you know about the event this morning. So we can't thank him enough, and I hope you'll give him a warm welcome, Representative Bob Detmer.
And when we found out there was a change in venue, I did get on the phone and made some phone calls. Colleen got on the computer, sent out some emails, and people sent emails from there, and what we have today is the people that are showed up today to honor our veterans and our heroes that have come through Forest Lake. And the students here, make sure you go back and talk to some of the students at school about what you've heard today. and because you're going to be people to carry on the voice of these veterans that you're hearing today. So, and if you need a pass to get into class, just let me know. I can write you a pass.
Jeremiah Workman.
Thank you, thank you. December 23rd, 2004, I had the honor of leading 10 Marines, 10 human beings that trust me with their life during the Battle of Fallujah. Nothing I do from this point on in my life will ever compare to that feeling. I had a great bunch of guys. We walked into a house, and they were waiting on us. There were 30 insurgents in a house. They trapped some of my guys up on the second story of the house. So I had to make a quick decision. Do I want to fight my way out of this house, or do I want to eliminate as many of these guys where they stand so they can't live to fight another day? So I made a decision on the spot that I'm gonna stay in this house. I'm gonna fight these guys. This fight went on for 3 hours. Like Pete said, 25 insurgents were killed, 40 in the 3 surrounding houses, total 40 insurgents killed. But I just want to talk a little bit about, once we were inside the house, I had a guy in my squad by the name of Philip Levine. I always tell this story because that's what got me through that fight, and that's why I'm still a Marine today, because of men like Philip Levine. Philip Levine was climbing up the staircase with me, and I heard him scream, and I looked back, and he was shot through the arm, and his arm was, badly wounded. And when I looked back, I saw him raise his rifle with his good hand and try to continue fighting. And when he didn't have the strength or the energy to raise his hand, he pulled a pistol out of another Marine's holster and continued firing the pistol with one hand. And that right there just tells you the caliber of our armed forces. I mean, every young individual that joins and raises their hand to join the military today knows what they're getting themselves into. And I think that just speaks volumes about our youth and our country. I want to jump forward 2 years. Back September of 2007, I had the opportunity to go back to Fallujah. And I landed there. We went out the next morning down Route 10, which goes right through the middle of Fallujah. And I've got to be honest, I was in complete shock. I almost didn't recognize some of the streets that I'd traveled so many times before. A lot of the rubble was cleared out, picked up. I actually stopped and I pulled my BlackBerry out and I called my wife. And I said, "You're not going to believe this." And she said, "What?" And I said, "Fallujah is a completely different place." The one big thing that I noticed, and Pete touched on a little bit, was the Iraqi police and the Iraqi army. Back in 2004, 2005, you were lucky if they were out there. They abandoned their posts. You couldn't really count on them. But now they're on every single street corner. They're doing their jobs. They take pride in putting their uniform on. I mean, they are being trained by the best military organization in the world, and that gives them confidence. That pumps them up, and they believe now that they can defeat these insurgents.
The first thing that I want to say is I am not a hero. I'm here on behalf of the men and women that are fighting on a daily basis in the sand, in the dirt. I'm speaking on their behalf. And I'm also speaking on the behalf of the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines that are here today from Vietnam, World War II, Korea, the Gulf War. Thank you for your service. What our men and women are doing today, and my wife is a United States Marine Corps officer, and the prettiest and toughest Marine in the Marine Corps, I might add. She's my hero.